Although a parent corporation isn't typically liable for a subsidiary's obligations, in some circumstances a court may pierce the corporate veil to assign liability to the parent. In Blair v. Infineon Technologies A G, the court considered what standard a plaintiff must meet for a court to pierce the corporate veil. Infineon Technologies A G manufactured semiconductors. In 2006, Infineon spun off a portion of its business and formed Qimonda A G and several subsidiaries of Qimonda. Infineon collectively referred to itself, Qimonda, and the subsidiaries as the Infineon Group. Infineon provided Qimonda with over €560 million in financing and retained a majority of Qimonda's stock. Infineon also installed 3 of its own officers and directors as Qimonda's officers and directors and recruited employees for Qimonda. Infineon even included Qimonda's employees and earnings in its records and financial statements. But in 2008, after Qimonda experienced significant losses, Infineon began classifying Qimonda as discontinued operations in its financial statements. Thereafter, Infineon forced the Qimonda subsidiaries to transfer most of their revenue to Qimonda, and Qimonda closed several subsidiary facilities. As a result, Qimonda laid off many subsidiary employees and induced others to waive or delay their severance packages in exchange for employment at other facilities. However, Qimonda never honored those agreements, and the subsidiaries ultimately filed for bankruptcy. Blair and several other former subsidiary employees filed a class action lawsuit against Infineon and Qimonda, claiming that the layoffs violated various labor laws. The former employees argued that although Qimonda and its subsidiaries purported to be separate from Infineon, Qimonda, and the subsidiaries were effectively a single entity. Therefore, the former employees argued that, under the alter ego doctrine, the court should have pierced the corporate veil and held both Infineon and Qimonda liable. Infineon moved to dismiss, asserting that it was merely the parent company of Qimonda and its subsidiaries, and thus that the entities shouldn't be considered collectively as a single entity. Infineon therefore argued that the former employees failed to satisfy the stringent standard to invoke the alter ego doctrine, and thus that piercing the corporate veil was unwarranted.